gone. So, how is Natalie?
Oh, she's fine. She's working now. She passed exam, you know.
Oh, she's always so busy. I mean, it's crazy.
No, but you know, it's time of the exam, you know.
At the time of the, okay.
The second session, they call it.
Okay. So now we're live.
Okay.
So good morning. It's 10 a.m. in Lisbon, 11 a.m. in Strasbourg, France, the beautiful city of Strasbourg, which is where I think our guest is. And our guest is very special indeed of this episode of UMAC Origins. He is Professor Hugues Dreyssé, who has been chair of UMAC between 2010 and 2016. In fact, he's my predecessor as chair. So he's emeritus chair of UMAC, and it's a delight to have him here with us today to share a bit of his experiences, as UMAC chair, and traveling all over the world, meeting colleagues and visiting university museums and collections. So thank you so much, Hugues, for being with us today.
Hello. Hello, Marta. Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to see you, and I hope many people will see you too.
Me too. So my first question is, I would like you to introduce yourself so that, your career. You are a physicist by training, so people may surprise you, may be surprised that you became engaged with UMAC, university museums, ICOM, So how is your point of entry? How did you become involved in museums? At which point of your career? Why? Tell us a little bit more about it.
Okay, I have to speak about me. Yes, you're right. I'm a physicist. I make a doctorate, and even we have 2 doctorates in France in physics. But also, I could say I am a child of 68. Not only for the hair.
Yeah.
Now it means that already when I was a PhD student, I was engaged in a way which has been developed after 68, we call science dissemination. And particularly, I was involved in what we call science shops.
Yeah.
So it means creating place where people can ask questions to scientists, and so construct some interaction between the scientist and the society. And this was done as a bénévole, as a militant, not professionally. And so I was lucky to be a researcher in theoretical physics.
Yeah.
So it means that you can work without too many commitments, with experiments or other duties. So it means you can work at night, you can work also during the weekend. So it was possible to combine this engagement, and with the professional life. Moreover, as a professor at the university in France, we have different duties. One is, of course, to teach, what I've done for so many years, to do research. I hope it was okay for the research, and also to participate to the valorization of the science of research, and also university administration. So then it is our
it's part of the job. It comes with the job that although sometimes it's not recognized, but it's part of the job that you do, administration, but that's everywhere in the world. But France is also, there's an important movement of culture scientifique, which is it's specific of France in a way, because it really redirected researchers at many years ago, decades ago, towards the public understanding of science, right?
Yeah, we have a long tradition, and of course with leftist people, even before the Second World with the physicists. We were really engaged, you know, this way. Of course,
Perrin
Perrin is the best example.
Is the best example. The Palais de la Découverte, which was open 1936. So there's a big tradition in France, indeed. Yeah.
So, but after 68, we are more leftist movement, I would say, with Jean-Marc Lévy-Leblanc and people like that. So it's something this is not normal, but there were some historical roots. But I have to say that I was really lucky to be a full professor, and I got very young, you know. So then if you are engaged in activities like museums for your career, could be sometimes more difficult. So then for me, it was fantastic that I had no problem of career, you know, so then.
Yeah, but wait, because there is a missing link here, because one thing is the public understanding of science, and that's very good, very well, but it does not necessarily connect to museums. Can you explain a little bit more of that part?
That's very interesting, because you, as a theoretician, we can make model, you know, but of course it's something very specific for me, because I came through this line, but in the same time, Strasbourg, maybe most of you know, I know that you are really an expert, but probably many people know that Strasbourg had something special in France, because Strasbourg was occupied by the German from 1871 to 1918, and they they built an university very modern, with many museums, you know, many collections, many collections, and for happiness. During the last war, they have been almost no destruction, you know.
Yeah.
So then we had all this heritage in Strasbourg in our university. And I have been in other university as a professor, but when I come back in Strasbourg, you know, I had my interest on public understanding of science, and the museums was there, you know. And so the idea was to connect both things together, you know.
Yes. Which is not easy, huh? It's not trivial. It's not in the mental space of university administrators, or even in the museum people. It's a connect that is not trivial. Huh? It's not something.
I would say, yeah, you're completely right. It's not trivial, but if you stay, what I have seen personally in Strasbourg, but I could say in many other universities, if you stay in your museum where you have maybe two or three employees, you know, 2 or 3 people working there, and then never the university will support you. They say, why we will spend billions or, you know, money for inventory and so on, and you know, it's now forget. So then you have to try this way also to connect, you know, with something else.
Connect society, to connect with society, and that's the most important thing, of course. So that kind of brings us to the core issues that I would like to address with you. And perhaps we could do that as a vol d'oiseau through your years as UMAC Chair. So you became, we met, I think you and I met, in Oklahoma, wasn't it?
Exactly. I remember you. You were young. Me too, younger.
Okay, we were very young. Okay, look, I have a surprise for you, because I brought the. I have the photo, the group photo. It's not a very good quality photo. Where is it? Oh my God.
I remember in Oklahoma. You know, and it was
so here it is.
Yeah.
So here we are. Okay, let me see if I can put this a little bit. Oh, it's terrible.
Now I am outside.
It's terribly pixelated. So, but here we can see some. If you know the people, you can see them. So there are you.
No, I'm just, you know, on the corner.
You're here with a mustache, very blonde. Yeah. And I think I'm here. I think I'm this one.
Yeah, you are here really hidden, you know.
Hiding. Yeah,
definitely.
And here's our chair at the time. There's also Andrew Simpson.
Andrew Simpson, yes.
Andrew Simpson, there's Peter Tyrrell. He was the host of this meeting in the beautiful Museum Natural History of Norman, University of Oklahoma in Norman. And there's Ingmarie Muntel. There's a lot of, there's Dominique Verschelde.
From Hunt.
Yeah. There's Panu, look, Panu here. Stephen de Klerk, our vice chair.
Yeah.
So I think this is when we met. But then you became totally engaged with UMAC. Let's go back to our conversation. You became totally engaged. You never stopped attending conferences. And at the time you were representing your museum, which is the Jardin, which was, I don't know if it was already called the Jardin des Sciences.
No, we call it already, yeah.
Tell us a little bit more of your museum, the collections that the Jardin des Sciences started organizing before we go to the UMAC, because I think it's better for people to understand, especially people who don't know the Jardin des Sciences and the beautiful heritage of the University of Strasbourg. Tell us.
Oh, thank you very much for the appreciation. Yes, in almost 25 years ago, the University of the president of the University of Strasbourg asked me to do something, to propose something to renovate our museums and collection. In fact, we had very small museums, one museum in mineralogy, one in earth science, seismology, something with also an astronomy. Yeah. And we had also the duty of the Zoological Museum together with the city of Strasbourg.
Yeah.
So, and this last museum, the Zoology Museum, is really famous in Strasbourg, because people like it's very visible. Also, we had, and that is something special for our university, we had a planetarium inside our university, which was also very popular, with many, many visitors. And I was asked to propose a plan, an organization to do something. So then I proposed the so-called Jardin des Sciences, that people have to work together, which was, we should be obvious, but in fact, it was not.
It's not.
We have two big structures. We have this Zoological Museum, this planetarium, they...
Yeah. It's not kind of, again, something that's not trivial at all, not trivial at all.
So then we start very slowly. And also I observed then there are some events, in public understanding of science, which were not developed, at Strasbourg. So I proposed also to do this. And I can say this now, I knew that we can get some money through this kind of activities. So it means almost no money for the museums, but if we do something with the kids, in the schools and so on, it's more easy to get money. And so we start the Jardin des Sciences.
This was before 2003, so that's when you got engaged. Yeah.
And then at that time, the president of the university, with the mayor of the city, proposed a huge renovation of the Zoological Museum. It was really something very interesting because it would have been something with all science discussion, living place and so on. Unfortunately, we had elections, and it's important election, and so on.
Of course.
So, but the new mayor said, no, I don't like what the former mayor has done. So then I don't want to do this. And so it was a little bit more complicated in the development of Jardin des Sciences. And so then what we gain, we fight on the both sides, public understanding of science, so then we get money, support, and also heritage by hiring one scientist, on some contract, something very, so many things. When I start, I was told, hey, Hugues, you can have as a co-worker this person and this person and this person. There was people doing nothing, or not nothing, or not I said,
Not,
no,
yeah.
I start with nothing, because my only culture is a research culture.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when you do research, you do this with people, they know what they do. And also the competition or your world, is a world, is not your neighbor, so it means that we start from nothing, really from nothing, but hire people by people, so for what you do and making connections and to people to work together. And so we grow, and now we are more than 35 permanent people.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And you're doing a great job. And finally, the project is arriving at something material, right? Something concrete. Tell us the point. Tell us the situation today. When?
Oh, yeah, because, I think when you have a project, the time scale is not the year. And particularly for museum, is not the geological time.
No.
It's 5, 10, 15 years. So then our first project failed.
Yeah.
But we continue, and we had an opportunity in 2007 to apply to a French program, called Plan Campus, to get some money. And they say, hey, we want to renovate the museum and we want to construct a new planetarium nearby the museum to make a big center. And so the president of the university was very enthusiastic. No, not everybody, but finally we convinced everybody, particularly in Paris. And now start a few days ago, the construction of the planetarium and the renovation of the Zoological Museum is going very well.
Fantastic.
Well, that is 20 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. I would love to stay and talk more about the Jardin des Sciences, even because I think it's a very innovative approach to this disparate things, science, outreach, and at the same time, preservation of heritage and promoting research into different areas, research and teaching into different areas. But I'm mindful that this is about UMAC. So we go back to UMAC. And so in 2010, presumably earlier, you decided to apply to chair of UMAC. Why? Okay, let's go to your motivation. What was your idea? What did you think that you could change things? Did you think that you could give, a contribute that was special? And what were the challenges that you faced?
As you say, I participate from Oklahoma, except once in Seoul, to all UMAC conference, and very rapidly I was very enthusiastic with this community, because I knew nobody. Really, when I met you in Oklahoma, I knew 0%, which for an old professor, it's something surprising, then you should know your colleagues. No, okay, but I found fantastic people, and also I found that something, the university museums and collections, something which must be supported, which must be developed, so. And then I was fortunate to participate to different meetings in Europe or whatever, or in France, to discuss with people. And, year after year, people say, you speak, you discuss, and some people say, hey, why not to be candidate for UMAC president? So it was not, on a professional point of view, it's not my...
It was not deliberate, like a plan.
No. The plan, I at that time, I was really involved in fundamental research in physics, but, then you, like, when 25 years ago, I was asked to do something, for the university in this field.
Yeah.
Okay, then you discuss with people and let's go, Now, and at that time, of course, I discussed a lot with Cornelia Weber, the previous chair.
Chair. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was really impressed by what she has done. So it means that
amazing.
The first 3 years, for UMAC was just construction, the whole people making together, and then okay. Then Cornelia, which was really involved also in this field, said, we need tools, and she constructs very strong tools. You know, it means a website, you know, for the UMAC journal, you know, something very strong. And also, I have to mention, but you are also responsible, is a fantastic database of all the museums, you know.
Yes,
so,
it's amazing.
Really, I have seen that Cornelia was working.
I will put, I'm telling to our YouTube viewers, I will put all the links that Hugues Dreyssé and I will be discussing. I will put them in the description of the video so that you can connect and see how great.
It really works, and to the database, which you are responsible, I know, but
small contribution.
No, small contribution. No, I know.
Yeah, it's a lot of hours. Yeah, no, but it was really modeled after the German database, so it was really
exactly.
something.
So, you know, and I have seen also, and I was afraid, you know, when I've seen how much Cornelia worked, but was how much alone was Cornelia, you know. So, and but then nevertheless, we had these tools, and I think at that time, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
At that time, Marta, and I discussed with many people, and that time UMAC was strong enough to do more politics and to expand, you know.
Right.
You know. So now we can, you know, of course. Remember when UMAC was created, people inside ICOM, inside the museums community say, oh, you are not professional, you are just a small player, you know, that's nothing. So then I think now we can prove that we are really serious, we are really professional, and then we can start to expand ourselves, you know, and then this was my main motto for election, and I think it's the only election where we had two candidates.
Who was it? I don't...
Peter Tyrrell. Hey, Peter is a fantastic guy.
Wonderful. He would have been a wonderful chair too.
Exactly. You know. So, but you know how it goes that you are candidate. You don't discuss with everybody, and then it's appeared that you have two candidates. But nevertheless,
So you're saying that there was the stage, the period, Peter Stanbury was more to open up, create the network, make connections among people, disseminate UMAC and so on. And then the second was like more professionalization in the sense that we have the tools to communicate and we have the tools to consolidate. In a way, and then finally your period would be the period where UMAC opened up to politics and to other actors in the field, say higher education and so on. That was your purpose.
Exactly, that was the purpose, you know, and the purpose was I can say a militant purpose. So it means that as the chairman of UMAC, I will fight for all university museums and collections, including museums or collections which are not recognized by ICOM or, you know, and so it means something much broader. So it means really a fight for museums and collections. And that is what I promise to do, and I hope I...
Yeah, and what was the you know, what surprised you as difficult, particularly difficult at the beginning? Or running UMAC, you know, a board, with the tools that you inherited, but at the same time with this program, with this, you know, plan. What were the most difficult, if you could identify one or two or three challenges? I think it's helpful for us to understand the development.
I think, you know, when UMAC was constructed, people which was in the board or around was really old fellow, very strong professional, very enthusiastic, with a lot of experience. Then when I arrived at UMAC as a UMAC chair, we had not so many members, you know, really not so many members. And the members which have been involved from the beginning were always present, but they say we have done. And then it means that is a small team, you know,
It's
with
kind of inbreeding kind of thing.
yeah,
Inbreeding kind of thing.
and
Small community.
don't forget that at that time we had no Zoom, we have not all
I know.
these,
Yeah.
and so we meet once in the year, you know, and sometimes, you know, when we discuss for elections for the board, people say, "Oh, we have to renew." Then someone say, "Okay, I can be a board member."
Yeah,
You know, it's
yeah.
it was
It
more
was, yeah. Okay.
enthusiastic, but you know, people we don't know together. And what happened also, then we had people from the board who had to resign because they changed the position or
Yeah.
they promoted or for many reasons. So it means that one first difficulty is what Cornelia told me, that you are very alone, you know, thanks.
Yeah,
I have
it's true.
all fellows, you know, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
give name, we know, which already were involved you know, in UMAC. That was difficulty because with such a big project, you know,
Yeah.
and you say, I am almost alone. You know, so
The community was still small in a way, and
small
closed. And closed.
Fragmented, you know, very
fragmented,
and people they don't know each other, you know.
But in a way, isn't it the same in all, you know, associations that are non-profit? You know, our work was volunteer based, so it's always difficult to get engagement, right? It's I also
you're completely right. There is a general problem, you know. You have to face to your everyday problem, you know, and then you have to do something for free as a volunteer. It's something which is not obvious. That is completely clear. The second point is exactly what we mentioned, and the problem of UMAC, and still now UMAC is worldwide, you know. So then when we discuss in UMAC, we should be understood by people which are very, very, very different, you know. And probably we don't reach the people, you know, they never heard about, or if they they say, oh, my WhatsApp, you know. Also, you know, there is a problem I realized before my election as chair. Then to be UMAC member, you must be ICOM member. Which I found obvious.
It's not a totally independent association, global network of, so you have to be recognized as a museum professional by ICOM, and that may be a problem, right?
Sometimes it could be a problem in that side, you know, to be recognized by ICOM, which we had to fight. I personally fight in many countries, you know, to the national chair to say, please recognize these colleagues as the real museums, and so on and so on. That is one side. But the other side, people in the university museums, they don't recognize in ICOM. They say, why did we pay 80 euros, you know, for what? For nothing, you know? Why, you know, what we did? You know, it's not my family. It's
not my thing. I'm in this, you know, physics national society or whatever. I have my own disciplinary communities and networks. And what is ICOM? What does it bring to the university, to my work as in the university?
What I will have, you know, I am in mineralogy museums, you know, I know all people in mineralogy in the world, but what I care about, you know. So it's a real problem. And so for that, I really propose to support what we call local or national or regional initiative. So it means to help the people to be together, you know, to be together. So what we can help is by publicity or not, we have not money to give, or but just to support this
support.
And it means also to discuss with people in order
people
they
together.
will engage the process, you know. So,
you know, I think when I look back, and because I inherited directly from you, I think that was one of the most important legacies of your 2 mandates, because you really went everywhere, and everywhere you planted the seed of a network. And so we, my first board and later, we inherited structures already, you know, talking to each other, meeting every year, sometimes even having publications, like for example in Mexico, like for example in Southeast Asia, and so they were in Poland and in Europe several. So you planted the seeds for these national networks, and I think that that is really the way to go, because this huge diversity of ways of organizing, national laws, museums, accreditation for professionals and for museums. It's such a complex landscape that UMAC, its main function is not so much to act on behalf locally, it's to act globally through the local organizations, you know. And so that's complex also with ICOM, because ICOM does not allow national networks of international committees, because it's kind of confusing. It becomes kind of a fractal, okay? It's like almost a fractal. But you know what I mean, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, we didn't care. You know, for instance, we have even a so-called UMAC in Mexico.
Yeah,
and I can say we have
very active.
2 UMAC members, 2 official members, you know, and every year they meet, you know.
Yeah, they're very active.
100 people, you know, with no financial support, and they do fantastic work.
They do fantastic work.
So I think for me it was the most. Yeah, thank you very much for the appreciation. But
no, it's true. It's
yeah,
true,
no,
totally.
I was lucky to be able to travel, because and to meet the people and to be clever enough to find a way to travel. But it's true that you have to discuss with the people. But what I recognize at that time, people, they were waiting for such a discussion. They say, oh, that's good, you know, oh yeah, thank you very much, we will do this, or maybe we can do this, or you know. So of course
yeah, because despite the diversity, the problems are very much the same, aren't they? Recognition, lack of resources, lack of you know, guidelines, knowledge of, you know, so many documents that already exist and so on. So it's more lack of expertise, and it exists, you know, but we are alone in a small museum in a university, I don't know where, and we think that we have all the problems of the world. But there are, if you talk to other people, you realize that it's not so, and that some issues are shared, and they have been at sometimes solved, right?
And there is, yeah, I agree with you. And I would add something that, of course, if you consider, and you know, we had your activities in people in countries very different, like China or United States or under Russia, you know. And so we have to take into account the general political situation, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, but so there is no one model. But also, what was important at this point, that the university all over the world, you know, have changed a lot the last 20 years. You know?
They have.
So even a small or not, there is no small or big university, but you know, everybody realize then they have to fight to be as good as possible. You know, I don't want to say too much about Shanghai ranking or whatever, but in any case, the university realized they can not only be really peaceful with money from the states. No, it's a little bit more complicated. And the second point is, and I was very happy and under with your chairship, you know, so we have a new generation of professionals.
We do.
When I start last century, you know, in gray hair, and I don't want to criticize, you know, you can look, you know, our picture, you know, except you were very young at that time, but you know, it was many old-fashioned people, or, you know, so many people were in charge of a collection.
So many young professionals,
And now we have seen the last 20 years, 15 years, so many young people. Young people means enthusiastic, but also with high education, you know, not only specialists in
super qualified.
Exactly. And they and having a more general view. And so people, they want to exist, you know, so it's not only to fight for my job, but really to have a project and to develop.
Yeah.
So then,
and they're very, how shall I put it? They have solidarity. They want to be engaged. You can see that politically, for example. They want to be engaged politically. And so this is kind of a mission because you have to do it voluntarily. You are not get paid. So it very much fits this dynamics of this new generation.
So in fact, we have been able to be inside the change of the university. Of course, they are very different according to the countries and.
Of course. What you've been everywhere.
No,
you do. You have been absolutely everywhere. So you are in the best possible position to tell us, to reflect with us on the differences between, say, university museums in Europe and university museums in America, in the Americas, okay, and in Asia. Tell us what strike you most. What surprises did you have? What conclusions did you reach about? Because universities, they're all the same in a certain sense, you know. First mission, second mission, third mission, and it's a very old institution and so on. So, but there are some differences, right? When you visit university museums in China or university museums in the US. Tell us a little bit, have you reflected about that?
Yeah, for sure. It's something which is really fascinating, you know, because when you travel, you arrive in sometimes in another world, you know, and so you have to understand what's happened. And of course, when you are, you go, I was still chairman, and you know very well China, you know, the first time you arrive is another world than United States, you know, you don't, it's completely obvious. So then you, and I would say I like very much that the university museums reflect also the society of the country or the continent and the history. So it means that when you go to China, you can be really impressed by the new development of the university museums. You know, people everywhere will be very jealous, you know, when they see so much nice building, new building, you know, with real good professionals, you know, and
absolutely.
So it's and something that's believe me, and you know better than me, than early this century we had not in the mind, you know, about China. So that is something really impressive, you know. So, but typical for China. In Asia, it's more locate, you know, the university museums are less important, and we have still, I was a couple of times in India, but as a UMAC, we know not so much, I would say almost nothing.
We know almost nothing. And if anyone in India is listening to this video, please write us. We know very little. We have very few Indian university museums and collections in our world database. Yet we know there are fabulous collections, museums in higher education system in India. So please get in touch.
Okay.
Sorry for this parenthèse.
You're right, because I know that you are making a lot of effort. I have done a lot of effort to contact people, to discuss, but India is a black continent.
It's crazy because when I started, I thought, okay, I looked at our distribution of members and I thought, okay, what is going to be really difficult is Africa. And we, in a way, concentrated our efforts in Africa. And at this moment, we have already the embryo of, so we have members, South Africa, we have members in Mozambique, and we have the embryo of a potential, I don't know, in 2 or 3 years, we can do a conference in Africa, maybe more. But I never expected, you know, India to be so difficult, really.
But you know, it's
difficult to know, difficult to, you know, to attend meetings, to penetrate the networks there.
Yeah, no, really, it's a real challenge, So then it's for the next year we will do. But
Yeah,
I would say it's really linked to the political and economical situation.
sure, sure.
And but then to come back to your question, so then we met in Oklahoma, So in United States, it was my first meeting with people from United States. But then after, not I have been living in United States for a long time, but with the people from the museums. But after, I realized that it was an association called AAMG, Association of American Museums and Gallery, which was really active. And fortunately, I participate to the annual meeting and I was involved also in the board. And I realized how rich is the United States for university museums, particularly, and that's a big difference with Europe.
Yeah.
Mostly, the majority are art museums,
Yeah.
And they exist because there are art museums. Our colleague.
We discussed, I don't know if you saw our video of this episode with Lyndall King.
Yeah.
We actually discussed a little bit the reasons for that. And I'm going to link this part here with a video from her because it's very, very, it's different, right? It's different the way, it's really different.
Yeah, but what is really interesting they exist because also they involve the students,
Absolutely.
And the community and also the donation, so it's a very interesting and all point. And, with some people, and I agree with this, believe that the university art museum maybe will play an important role for the general art museum because they are not under the economic law, and the creation and so on about creation. So it's something really, really interesting. But of course,
because it's not that they don't have the others. Let's clarify for our viewers. It's not that they don't have the scientific, natural history collections, mineralogy, paleontology, fabulous. They do have that. Scientific instruments, incredible. Medical collections, incredible. And archives and so on. It's just that they have this extra layer that is a result of the dynamics of a society that is, very it's very oriented towards donations and towards collecting privately and so on.
Exactly. Yeah, and I meet people in AAMG, which were from natural history museums, and they were really sad and they don't feel comfortable. But as you say, all these people from museums, this kind of museums, belongs to a specific community, And so,
it's true.
And
it's true.
United States is very big too.
Yeah.
So then it's something very different, and so
somebody should do some research, I think we already have enough scholarship, both in 20 years of publications of our conference papers, 20 years with 12, 15 papers published, plus all the publications done by other associations, like, for example, Universeum, the European Academic Heritage Network, or local, more national, like the AAMG. I think it would be nice to have some comparative studies, certainly not at global scale, but for example, looking at two countries or looking at two blocks of countries that have similar traditions and histories. Don't you think? It would be very, very nice to start having that.
Yeah, that was, I agree with you. There are some work, PhD thesis already in, not your work, of course, which was really pioneer, almost 20 years ago. No, but there are some specific, no, sorry. I'm professor and I know that you were the first to do such a work, and what we have seen before is sometimes more focus work on comparison, but I agree with you, but in fact it's very complicated. I will give you an example, with Germany. Cornelia was very active and done fantastic work. Also after she has been chair, and they have fantastic network, and you will give
they do
link, because in Germany, despite the war, they have collections
Incredible.
in almost every university, you know.
Incredible.
And you know why also collection exists? Because they have, or they had up to recently, professors and curators, you know, everywhere. And so then this
they kept that. They kept that.
Is unique in Europe, you know. Everybody, the position of professor of paleontology and so on. Oh, gone. You know?
Gone. Now you're geology, earth sciences, and so on.
But on the other side, you know, if you look for university museums, Germany has not so many, you know, as compared to other countries, you know.
No, it's mostly the collections,
in the faculties, you know. So
it will be very interesting next year to go to Dresden. I hope you will join us, huh?
Sure.
To see a little bit with Universiam. We're going to have a joint meeting. It's actually, it's in 1 year exactly. If there's no COVID problems, you know, we will be in 1 year exactly. We will be in Dresden, the beautiful Technical University of Dresden. Fantastic heritage, fantastic city. And so we will have opportunity to see a little bit more of what that means, the specificity of the collection, research and teaching collection, which is very much a German, of course, I'm not saying it doesn't exist anywhere, but it's like, there's you know, it's a national.
And what is interesting in Dresden, they have very few collections, so they can construct maybe more easily a museum. And so to come back to UMAC duties, what we have also I was not the only one, try to do, and I know that you participate already and you continue, is to discuss with our colleagues, you know. And so what UMAC can do is to not help people that are already know the job, but by having a discussion, just taking some distance and say, consider the political background, the historical background, you know. So then what you can do, because what I found, we need more people involved to defend the university museums. They will defend themselves, but also it will develop UMAC. But the problem, everybody needs a personalized discussion. No, we cannot. And so for that reason, you mentioned, we support a lot of people. Some people were surprised. When I was chair, we support a network like Universium in Europe. And some people say, oh, you are in competition. I say, no,
of course not.
No, we want a strong Universium European network. You know, that is very important, you know.
It's very important for UMAC to have, go back to my point, it's very important for UMAC. In fact, the success of UMAC depends on the success of these different level, local at university level, national at country level, and then regional per block like Europe or, you know, Carib and so on.
AAMG or whatever.
Exactly.
You know, so it's something very, very important. You know, so.
Yeah. Look, the time flies, you know, and we're reaching the end of our most delightful conversation. But there is a question that I cannot not ask you, because you were vice president of a university for so long. So you've been to the other side of the, you know, of the wall. You've been on the other side as a university vice president. And what do you think, in your view, is the most difficult thing for universities to understand about their museums, collections, and heritage? And vice versa, what do you think is the most difficult thing for museums to understand about universities? You understand the question? Yeah.
I understand the question, you know, to be really precise, I was almost 10 years vice president of the university. I was in charge of the human resources. And, you know, it means that in a French university, we have all the money to pay the people. So then it's something very sensitive. So because also in university, you know, there are many power and sub-power and so on.
I know.
And so, yes, according to my experience, I can say that when you discuss with the president of university, what I had a chance in many other places in as vice president or vice president, people, they agree, they like very much museums. They like very much, you know, there is no problem, except some people. But the problem is money, you know. Money is a real problem. And then if you have not a strategy, which is adapt, you know, is really prepare for your university, for your team, your presidential team, for the presidents, you are lost, you know, because you will say, oh, what we do is fantastic. We have the best collection of the world.
Exactly.
They say, come on, we have 3 Nobel Prize, and what is this? You know, so you need to find the arguments to convince the people that the money which is given for the collection, for the museum, will be useful for the university. And you know, at that point, you know, the opening of the museums, you know, to a large public is very important. You know, when you say, you know, as you know, the public, you know, they don't like too much study science, you know, hard science, you know, so we're really a lack of students. So then we say, hey, we do some activities so they will understand that science is not boring, you know, hard science is not boring, and so on. They say,
strategically, it helps universities see that they can potentially recruit and so on. So you have to,
exactly. With the heritage, you know, if you say just I have the best collection of the stones in the world, let's say, well, we don't care. If you say in the history of your city, you know, of your country, there is something very important that so university can use this heritage. Oh, that's good point. We can do something, you know.
And it can be done, you know, it's very easy that it can be done. So in a way, you're saying that museums should stay firm in what they believe, that of course they're not going to throw away heritage, I'm not saying, but at the same time making a rapprochement with the strategy, the local situation.
You know, now every university has a strategic plan, even UMAC has. Strategic plan. So you must be.
ICOM has. It's not. Exactly.
Never. No, I'm kidding. But you know, not only you must be in a strategic plan, but you must convince the people that you will be useful, and also you must be aware of the technical tools. You know, we discussed before our project of new planetarium and renovation of museum. It was possible because at that time, as a vice president, you know, I heard about this proposition. So then you can fight at this level, you know. So it's also a question of power. There are power everywhere for the good reason, you know. So it means that we can do a lot of things, but you have to act politically. And I think for that reason, maybe I was elected as chair, or you back another place, because you know it's more politics than to be technically good, you know. No, you must.
It's not only about of course there's a lot of power plays and so on, but it's also about being aware as a university museum professional, being aware of the issues that the university, that your university is facing in contemporary society, in the system, in the global higher education system, and not be kind of disconnect because, okay, I'm in a museum, it's my world, I have nothing to do with that. No, it's wrong. You have a lot to do with that in terms of first mission, second mission, and third mission. And you can help your university, right? Support your university, penetrate in the society like no other department, you know, can do, because you have the propensity, the mission, and the vision, and the qualified staff to do that.
Yeah, but you need good connections with
good connections.
Faculties, with a professor, you know, and that is one point is we don't mention enough because it's so obvious that the difference between university museums and normal museums, and then in our museums, we have the staff, like everybody, a given number of people, but behind us, you know, we have all the researchers of the university.
Of
and
course.
then that, if I say, that is the most important point, you know, is really to convince this, you know, people, the researcher, the teacher, to say participate, you know, and the more they participate, and the more people will believe, oh, that is really interesting, you know.
Exactly.
And for that reason, to come back to the beginning, you know, to the connection of science dissemination, you can really involve many people, you know, and they have discovered the interest of the heritage many times, you know. You see, so.
Fantastic. We could not have finished in a better way our conversation, which I loved, by the way. But I just have one very short, you can only answer with, I don't know, 4 or 5 words, okay? So, you've been everywhere, literally everywhere. Antarctica, if there were, you know, university museums in Antarctica, you would have been there. What is your favorite university? Okay, you can say 2. What are the 2 favorite university museums that you visited? Cannot be yours, okay? Cannot answer Jardin des Sciences, no. It cannot be mine either because it's kind of flattering. So tell us 2 university museums that are fantastic that people should be paying attention to.
I will not give.
No.
No, because, you know, no, because there are so many nice university museums, you know, really so many nice. And, you know, what it depends what you expect, you know. Sometimes you want to see the connections, you know, because as compared to other museums, you know, you go to Ashmoleon, you know, you say that's it's great, you know. So, but sometimes you go in a small museums, you know, and just one room, and it's really emotive when you see dedicated to some scientist during the Stalinist time, you know, he has done fantastic work. And then I found so nice. So it's been, there are so many nice places. And so I will not give number. No, I like your place.
I respect that.
Your place.
And by the way, that you remind me that one of your legacies was also the UMAC Award. And the UMAC Award is precisely an award that aims to recognize that even that small one room where you do experimental things and you do different things and you actually you could be you are a leader in certain areas, or you do projects that are innovative and so on. So that's
so for that, if I can say to our
sure, go ahead.
Us, you know, I will give an advice. You know, we have this fantastic database, and Marta, you will give the link again. You know, so you know, when you travel, if you have the chance to travel all over the world, you go somewhere, you just go to the database, and you look at the university museums, and you look. Sometimes they have, of course, sometimes in Russian, in Chinese, or whatever. You know, some website. But then you contact the people, and they are very nice, and
of course
you will discover fantastic things,
jewels,
and we will discover colleagues, you know, which are so happy to see you, you know. So then, then please, I would say, use the database when you travel. When
thank you.
When we will travel again.
Well, thank you so much, and to our, it was really a wonderful conversation. Thank you for your time, and to our viewers, thank you for watching. And do not forget to subscribe our channel and leave some comments. We will reply to them promptly. I will forward your questions if you have to Professor Hugues Dreyssé. And thank you also to the University of Lisbon for allowing me to use this Zoom platform that is broadcasting on YouTube. And tomorrow, the UMAC Award nominees of 2020 will be announced at some time. We want to be a surprise. We don't want to announce at exactly what time. We want it to be a surprise. So, but stay tuned, and I hope you join us again for another episode of UMAC Origins. Thank you so much.